How do you feel about our new YouTube channel?
Oh, good. Thank you.
I'm Sarah and this is Charlie. We met 8 years ago when I bought my first sailboat at Erickson 28 at the San Francisco Bay Marina where Charlie lives. We fell in love fast and spent the next several years restoring our Formosa 41 sailboat and then sailing the west coast of California and Mexico, California's Channel Islands, and the Sea of Cortez. All this time, we were preparing to cross to the South Pacific Islands, but due to the closure of the South Pacific, we made a big, hard decision to ship our boat to Florida to sail the Caribbean in winters and the Chesapeake, where I fell in love with the water, in summers. But along the way, we stumbled across our dream piece of land in our dream town in rural Vermont, so we're taking a break from sailing while we build ourselves a land base. We'll be building a creative and sustainable home with our own hands, so that should be an adventure in and of itself. We'll tell you all about why we are taking some time on land in the next couple episodes, but for now, join us in preparing a site in the forest for our land home. How do you feel about our new YouTube channel?
Oh, good. Thank you.
I made a half French press and it's gone.
Yeah, I noticed that you did French pressing. I thought, oh, maybe there's some copy to share. And I thought, no, it's not.
I didn't think you'd be up so soon.
No. No.
We can make a whole nother French press.
No.
Those apples had a lot of tomato seeds in them.
They sure did. Nice. You got a cutting board for us. Sorry I made us use cardboard for so long. I was quite proud of you of your cardboard usage.
I think we should go up to our land today, or tomorrow at least. Probably tomorrow seems more reasonable. And walk around now that we're set on timber framing.
Oh. Yeah.
Can select the best tree to fell
Right.
first with only an axe.
For our land. They use saws. It's okay.
He said only an axe.
Show me the inside of your fuzzy coat, dear. Let me see close up what's actually happening here. Is this a sheep?
This is climate beneficial certified wool. I'm supposed to be making clothes out of it, but I think this design really can't be improved upon. See, that is a different variety, right? It's yellow.
Yeah, actually, because I was gonna be like, oh, maybe it's more ripe.
All right, I'm gonna shake the tree.
Yes. I think that's pretty good. Did one hit you on the head?
Really hard, right on the head. Watch out.
Oh gosh.
This is the one with the leaves?
The one that is the majority of the tree.
That's good. This is the red one that we worked so hard to get.
Yeah.
Like the only red one on the tree.
Yep. I think there were 3 total. Is it good? Oh.
Sour.
Oh wow.
Is yours not sour?
No, it is.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Really sour.
All from the same tree.
This one is the clear winner because it has these cute leaves and taste incredible. But luckily this is also the majority of the apples, so win-win. Watch out, hold that branch. Do you see his?
This one?
It's fine, it's not gonna bother us, but. And then the path that we used to walk up is over there.
Yeah.
And then.
Should I stop at the
No, this,
gravel?
it hasn't, you'll be able to turn around there. Just, but.
Keep going?
The house is up there. That's where we're gonna put the house.
It smells delicious.
Oh, it does. After the rain. I think that I want to have a garden here, but what I like is to have like little rooms all over the property. So like down that terrace or that terrace, there would be like a campfire area or a garden shed. And so we didn't think we could get up here. We first tried to put the driveway through that way there that I said we could potentially park at if it's icy. And it got too wet. The excavator started just kind of like sliding down the hill and sinking in, and we were like, okay, can't go any further. And then this, it didn't look passable. Like that rock in the way there was really in the way. This was not flat, this was steep. So Peter did some amazing work in planning, and we got a driveway up. And it definitely gets steeper than the recommended grade in Vermont. So it will, over our lifetime, cost us more money in gravel and be impassable in parts of winter. But
right, so then you'll just have to walk this.
Yeah, we'll park down there and walk up. And it has some serious implications. Like if we have a fire in the winter, the fire trucks won't be able to get up. So
but that's not going to happen.
No, we've considered all the risk and weighed them and thought about what we want in our life, and we decided that it's totally worth it.
We just came up the insanely steep driveway up this way. There's a nice rock.
And we're on the house plateau,
which is beautiful.
So we're still back on the driveway and curving around to meet the house. And we haven't actually really decided exactly where the house will be yet. We just got up here and started clearing the land about 2 days ago. So it's right now covered in cut down trees and branches and rocks, and once we get a little bit more cleared, I think we'll get a really good feel for what the space could be.
Right.
And we're being really slow to cut down trees because there's some beautiful trees there that we kind of love. And
do you have some favorites?
The maples, mostly the hardwoods.
Yeah.
So we're cutting down the trees first that we don't feel so attached to, and then we're going through and cutting down others if we think they need to be cut still. So that's not how most people do it. They just like cut them all down. So it's kind of slowing down how quickly we're seeing the potentials for the space. There's a maple I'll show you down the hill that's really special. It's like one main trunk that divides into two trunks. Comes together again, and the two trunks take off, and the one trunk divides into two more trunks.
Oh wow.
And he wants that to be a centerpiece in the house that's visible. And he says, it's like us. It's like we come together, then we have kids, and it was cute. So
that's adorable.
He doesn't want that one to get damaged because it's also like the right size, so it'll just be
right. But eventually you'll cut it down.
It's cut down.
Oh, okay.
And so we just have to get it off the ground so it doesn't start to rot.
Right. So pretty.
Almost to the house. This does a lot for us. We have it for like 3 more weeks. So they are expensive to rent, so when we have them, we work like crazy.
Yeah. Do they come and pick it up, or? Yeah,
they drop it off and pick it up. The closer to the edge of the cliff we get, the drier the soil gets because it drains down off of it. But I personally feel better having the house a little, I like want to not feel like I'm falling off the cliff in a house. But Charlie loves a house on a cliff. So until we can really like see the land without those blue trees, I don't think we know exactly where the house will be. So we'll have to put some swales in to slow and redirect the water uphill of here. And that should really help. But the stream is far enough off that way, it really has nothing to do with the water here. Look it up here.
The natural path.
Yeah, so I think I took you up that way, didn't I? From around that. No, it wasn't.
No, I don't think we came up that way.
No, it wasn't connected. She is very impressed. Well, are you very impressed?
Yes.
You seem impressed.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think the angle of the driveway is hilarious.
She thinks our driveway is a bit steep.
I'm worried about this.
Coming from a true Vermonter.
Yes, it's important to have a true Vermonter here. This is where that reishi grows. On these hemlocks.
At the base?
Yeah.
Cool.
And you can smell these. They're so different than any other pine. Horses don't like to chew on this if you build your barn out of it.
Oh, so are most horse barns made out of
They can.
hemlock?
You've lived here. You know what happens in the winter.
Steep.
Well,
And it's not like it's steep and then it flattens out and you go uphill. It's like steep into a really tight hairpin turn.
Oh,
to
well, that
more
section
steep.
we're gonna level out. I think I'm gonna have to go another 40 feet that direction and then
That's so
slowly
steep.
turn.
Right.
But
I will never forget the time, my first trip up here in winter, and we slid off of her parents' driveway,
Oh,
which
God.
is pretty flat.
Was I driving?
You were driving, and I was still in like snow terror mode. You picked me up, and I was like, Kyla, we can't drive. Like, we've got to stay at the airport until this melts. And you're like, oh, hi, Sarah, it's fine. And
Meanwhile,
then later,
I don't remember sliding off.
oh well, we were motoring up the ICW in Florida, and it was 1,000 degrees.
were we approaching Mosquito Lagoon, or had we just passed it, or were we in it?
We had come through Mosquito Lagoon earlier that day, I believe.
It was pretty miserable. It was so sticky. It was June, so we were headed north a little bit later than ideal, but it was fine. It was fine. There was terrible storms every afternoon and a million mosquitoes and carpenter ant swarms from every direction.
Yeah, the carpenter ant swarms in Florida are a real thing in early summer.
So a notification popped up on the iPad, a Zillow notification, and I was downstairs and Charlie said, come look at this. We were not actively shopping for land at that point. It'd been
No.
3 years of like considering getting some land in Vermont. And last summer we did come and like kind of really start shopping, but it didn't go very well. So we'd pretty much given up.
I think you kept shopping, maybe remotely, because we ended up
As a
with the
hobby.
Zillow app on our iPad, which became our main navigational instrument because our Raymarine ES128 pretty much slowed down to the speed of a DOS computer. But then I clicked on it, and it was a very nice piece of land with lots of trees. This one's a Bebb's willow, and this is a gray birch. The gray birch I've found is quite easy to identify because it has these like heart-shaped, arrowhead-shaped leaves. So they swing in. Whee!
Well, we didn't know that. It just had a single picture of the road that turns off onto the land. And it didn't even have a picture, not even the driveway, the actual road in front of the land. And there were no other pictures. And we knew it was in probably our favorite town in all of Vermont.
Yeah.
With a bike trail right behind it.
I thought that this hillside was one that I had ridden my bike on with nice trails, and that got very exciting.
But I was like, no, no, no. There's no way a piece of land at that price is going to be not like a cliff that you can't even walk up, because that's pretty much all we saw within our budget the summer before.
We did a lot of cliff hiking.
And I
yes.
was just like, no, there's no way. And Charlie was like, Sarah, just try it. I have a good feeling. Like, fly up, check it out. And at that point, something clicked in my brain, and I was like, I am miserable right now. We're in Mosquito Lagoon, and if Charlie wanted a stick of Vermont butter from Vermont, I would fly up and get it for him. So I will go check out this land. And I did, and I flew up, got here, rented a car, came out, saw the land. It was drizzling and pretty magical. There were ferns everywhere, and I don't have service here still. So I got back to town and I called Charlie and I was like, Charlie, it's amazing. And he's like, well, let's buy it. And he hadn't even seen it, but we put an offer in and it got accepted. So
I was still in Mosquito Lagoon.
yeah, he was still
So
in
I
Florida.
was very interested in purchasing land in the north at that point, where there was not a marsh or afternoon lightning storms.
How do you feel about that now?
Well, pretty good. I do wish that I could just float immediately back and forth between the two places. Hot Mosquito Lagoon, because my nose is very cold today. This is my second cold nose day I've had in Vermont, and I didn't have any cold nose days in Florida, although it was too hot to sleep in the same bed. So when you left, I was able to sleep in the bed again as opposed to on the couch.
We weren't doing that, were we?
Oh yeah, I was sleeping in the
Yeah, I guess
in
you're
the
right.
salon on the bench, and you were sleeping in the bed because it was 1,000 degrees.
So sticky. Little house behind us and a little bit that way. This site we're sitting on, we actually didn't even know existed when we bought the land. There's like 3 plateaus on our land. Our land's mostly a mountain, but there's a natural flat spot, and then I think there's a couple other semi-natural flat spots that probably have been altered by humans at some point, because we did find an old house site up there. And then
We found some bricks from like a fireplace, and we found sugar shack pans, big steel pans that with corrugations in the bottom of them and fire flue chutes in the back that were used in sugar shacks to evaporate the maple syrup. So we've got running water,
There's a
which
creek
is drinkable.
over there. And there's a second plateau we're going to put our main garden on.
Yeah.
That's summary. How you doing with your emotional connection to the trees?
It's difficult cutting down the trees. I don't like it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining our adventure. If you liked this episode, I would appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, subscribed, or shared. Join us next week as we talk about the personal reasons why we decided to quit sailing for a while, settle into winter, and finish moving these trees around and start moving the earth around. I'm personally really excited for next week's episode because it is the first episode I will have filmed since I taught myself how to edit. And I think it's going to be a lot smoother because of that. And I'm just excited because this is a new skill set for me that I'm enjoying learning and sharing with you. So thanks for tuning in. See you next week.